Hello, everyone, and welcome to our info session on Full Stack Developer Certificate. My name is Mushra Chaudhry, and I am the Manager of Recruitment and Sales for the Chang School. Before we get started, I'd like to acknowledge the land on which Toronto Metropolitan University is built upon. Toronto is in the Dish with One Spoon territory. The Dish with One Spoon is a treaty between the Anishinaabe, Mississaugas, and Haudenosaunee that bound them to share the territory and protect the land. I thank the Indigenous peoples of Turtle Island for their efforts to protect the land, and I deeply regret the past injustices they have endured. As Toronto Metropolitan University seeks to move forward in partnership with Indigenous peoples, I pledge to foster an environment that is more inclusive and welcoming of Indigenous peoples from all communities. Now, I'd like to go over a few items so you know how to participate in today's session. Your microphone is muted throughout the event so as not to disturb other attendees or the presenters. For the hearing impaired, we have automated captioning available, which you can access by activating it in the toolbar at the bottom of your screen. You can submit your questions for today's speakers at any time by typing them into the question box in your control panel. We'll collect them throughout the session and address them at the end of the presentation. Now for our speakers for today, Dr. Alex Furwarn, Academic Coordinator of the certificate at the Chang School, and Mihal Mew, a developer of the certificate. Now, before we get started, I'd like to run a quick poll for our attendees today. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen to share this poll. So if everybody can open your browser and hop on to menti.com and enter the code that's on the screen, we can then participate in this poll. So the code is 81036554. It's really simple. It'll only take a few seconds and it'll provide us some really good feedback. What we want to know is what motivated you the most to consider this certificate. The options are career advancement, career change, skill building for current role, personal interest, and other. Okay, looks like we've got one for career advancement, one for career change, and one for skill building for the current role. We'll leave that up for just a few more seconds, and then we will move on to one more poll that we have. All right, so this is the next one. We sort of wanted to know, what's your level of familiarity in this field? Not the certificate in particular, but what is your level of knowledge in the field of full stack developer? So there's three options there. First is high, where you consider yourself well informed about the program. Then moderate, where you consider you have a basic awareness. And then low is you have minimal or no prior knowledge about full stack, which is totally fine as well. So we'll leave that on for a few more seconds as well, and then we'll end the poll here, and I'll hand it back to Luke for the presentation. So it looks like we've got three people who are at a moderate level of knowledge. Oh, and it's now up to four. So yeah, thank you for taking part in this poll. Like I said, it really helps us provide feedback to the team and our presenters. So with that, I'll end the poll, and now I'll invite our academic coordinator, Dr. Alex Forwarn, to share a certificate overview. Alex is the professor of computer science in the Faculty of Science, senator at large, and co-chair of the Joint Health and Safety Committee at TMU.
Thank you, Mashur. I'm glad that people have joined us today to hear about full stack developer. Full stack is an interesting concept in that it runs you through a complete cycle of understanding the front end, the middle, and the back end of a complete application on the network. The knowledge you gain is actually related to the four courses that we're offering. So what they do is they run you through a series of skills you'll need and the tools you'll also need, and how to use them and put them together to create a complete application. So this might be for various reasons. So maybe you have an employer that wants to bolt on some version of e-commerce onto an existing website. Perhaps you are developing a complete application that is informational in nature and actually has some interaction. In any event, this is the certificate that allows you to do that at the end. So next slide, please. So that's fine. So the 8-month estimate of the amount of time it would actually take you to complete those four courses that's really up to you. So what I've discovered is some people want to run through this incredibly quickly, right? So they want to take all four courses at once, which is difficult, actually impossible. But the 8-month is a reasonable estimate. Some people take much longer to do this. So we're not pressuring you to complete this. But when you do complete it, you'll have a full set of skills that you'll require. Anyways, next slide. Yeah, so the days of just being able to throw together a bunch of code and put up a web page and get paid for it are kind of over. They've been over for a good long time. So expectations are higher amongst many employees. So the idea of being able to address the needs of an employer that wishes to do more, and thus increase your value to the employer if you can achieve that, they're here. So the demand to do this internally for a company is pretty high. And those that are seeking, or companies and enterprises that are seeking to have this done for them, that's an area that continues to grow. So it tends to pay very well, and there are a lot of tools which didn't exist even a few years ago that will assist you to do many of the tasks that are required if you're a full stack developer. One of the important ones is generative AI. So you probably have heard the hype about it, but it actually is an excellent learning tool. So you can learn the tools with the assistance of AI, but it will also create many opportunities for you to bolt things on to the things you're creating because you will have a built-in assistant. So our courses have been revamped in order to address the benefits of generative AI and how you might go about applying it when you're actually working in the area. There are lots of places where this type of knowledge can be applied within an enterprise, but some people just do it because they're interested in creating their own full applications on the web. So whatever your motivation is for doing it, there are people who are interested in this skill set and interested in paying you if you have them. So today's job market, it's becoming, I wouldn't call it exactly expected, but increasingly a sort of a higher value contractor employee would have these types of skills, right? Next slide. There are lots of career paths, and we discover more of them every time someone takes our certificate. So we have had people who are just doing this for their own interest. Some people were system administrators, so they administered a system. They were worried about many things, but their job role changes to try and take advantage of more functionality on the web. So people come to us and they try and learn how to address those needs. Some people do it because they're interested in programming, and this is an area of programming as well. So we do cover quite a lot of tools. And you will not become an expert programmer, but you will be taught how to program if you don't know how to do that already. And if you come with skills, we will work with you to actually increase those skills so you become a better person, a better employee, a better entrepreneur, a better whatever meets your fancy, whatever your needs are. We work with you to make you stronger in technically stronger, but also how you think about the development of applications. Next slide. You can see that the remuneration for being a full stack developer is not very bad. It's actually pretty good. So if you're looking up at that, the salary figures, some of the skills that you will acquire in the full stack developer certificate are actually used in various roles that are depicted on your screen at the moment. So if you're a web developer, a programmer, if you know about the full life cycle of your application, that is a value added. Web designers who don't understand how the technical components of the backends work are at a disadvantage. So you would be at an advantage. And of course, with the magic, so the full stack, comes the threat, which is the cybersecurity components. So if you actually understand how the back end works, you become a more valuable cybersecurity specialist. So this applies to all of those trades, and it's worthwhile. Next slide. Yeah, I have difficulty with this slide all the time because we keep identifying more people who would benefit from this type of training. So we have had all manner of people take this, right from unemployed homemaker to was looking for their first introduction to actual work, so working for somebody else, and that person did receive a actually offer of a job shortly after taking the certificate. But we've also had people who I don't actually understand their motivation. So we've had police officers take this, we've had nurses take this, and they all seem to get something out of it. But if you're looking to return to a workforce or enter the workforce, this is a great place to start because it's in demand. So your chances of getting employment in the area are better. And as I said previously, the remuneration is pretty good. So it's usually worth your while to at least check this out. Next slide. So you gain many benefits from taking this. So this is the kind of the learning outcome slide. The biggest one I would say is actually the first one. So having an appreciation for the end-to-end development and how it actually occurs. Fitting into a development team is actually important if you actually understand the development and how it actually happens and you can participate in it. Well, that's a huge value added. Your technical skills can be used in many areas. As I said, we'll be touching upon or actually deep diving pretty deep into things like Python and JavaScript and things you may not have heard of, but are pretty standard business tools. Also, the idea of building interfaces to these applications, we cover much of that as well. And the idea of integrating things together is something that people aren't usually accustomed to. So what I mean by that is, you have two boards and you have a nail. We teach you how to nail the two boards together using the hammer, which is the tool. Well, we have analogies for all of those tools within the certificate, and by the end of it, you'll be nailing boards together. And next slide. So we don't want to just abandon you. So the best customers we have, learners, are repeat customers and those that we maintain a relationship with. So we're not particularly interested in seeing you just flee the place because you paid us a lot of money and are no longer interested in talking to us. We actually want you to hang around. So hanging around means that we provide a lot of support that you may not be used to in a continuing ed place. So we provide virtual tutoring, mentoring services. We'll actually help you we won't help you find the job, but if you find an actual place that may wish to employ you, we'll provide full support. So we will provide a resume checking service. We will also provide letters of support for potential employers. So we wish you to be successful because when you're successful, you'll have money and perhaps you'll come back and give us some of it. So that's really the ecosystem we're trying to build. So I want to be upfront that your success very much is our success. So we wish you to be successful. Um, and next slide. So we have these sessions beginning every term. The spring term is coming up, and we'll be starting a new cohort of full stack developer. And I hope to see, although I can't see any of you at the moment, I hope to see your real faces in real seats, at least virtually, doing this work, so you can improve your lot in life, and I can be proud of you. Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing that overview, Alex, and taking us through a quick rundown of the certificate, what it's about, the benefits of taking it, and also the support that's available for anyone who wants to take it. Now it's my pleasure to introduce our next speaker, one of the developers of the certificate and an entrepreneur, Michal Miu.
Hello, my name is Michal. I've developed CKCS 145 full stack developer and also some of the AI courses. The whole point of these courses is to give you practical work. Also, the project is meant to be a vehicle that will demonstrate your skills. Project is not something that you start and you finish in the course. After you present your course, you keep working on your project, and you're going to gain skills that are going to be relevant to not necessarily your career, but with regards to whatever you're interested in. As it was discussed earlier, we have people taking this course for different reasons. Some of them are taking it to retrain themselves, but some of them they have good careers, but they felt that they missed out on certain things, on certain skills. So they said, you know what, this is a way for making up for previous deficiencies. For example, I had one lady from university from Cambridge, England, and she did her studies, but everything that she implemented was on pen and paper, and she found a way to automate all of this. All right, so that's it for me. Thank you.
Awesome. No, that sounds like a really interesting project, automating it, all of that manual processes. Thank you for sharing that and for sharing your insights. Um, so that ends the presentation portion of today's session. We'll now open the floor to everyone for Q&A. Please enter your questions by typing them into the question box of the control panel. So I know we've got a couple of questions that have come in already, and Michal, I know you've answered them. Thank you for doing that. I just want to read them out for the rest of the people that are in attendance. So the first one is, does the program offer any career support,
Yeah,
industry connections, or guidance
yeah.
for students transitioning into tech roles? And you get career wraparound support after finishing the program, which will be provided by the program director, Anne Marie. So thank you for sharing that, Michal.
Uh,
And
uh,
then, yeah.
I was about to say, as soon as you start the program, she's going to give you an introduction, and she's going to tell you about that. All right. So make sure you don't miss the first day because Anne Marie's going to introduce herself and tell you all the details. All right. Including how
Uh,
to contact her, which is important.
Actually, to add on to what Michal just said, I think you'll be surprised at the level of eagerness that Anne Marie has in actually assisting you. So it's not a matter of somebody has a job function to assist you. This is like a passion of Anne Marie's. So she wants you to find the job. We're very happy when you've got the job, and we have a little celebration because of it. So we're in this with you.
Right. So don't miss the first day of class and the very last class, which is a presentation. Do not miss those classes. All right.
I can definitely echo that about Anne Marie and her commitment to helping out students, not just with career wraparound support, but with anything that they need while they're enrolled with us. Okay, so next one is if someone is starting CKCS 145 and CFPN 535, how many hours per week should they expect to spend on coursework and projects? So it's about 3 to 6 hours per week, and a little bit more for the project. So the next question I can throw out to both Alex and Mihal is, will students complete portfolio-ready projects that demonstrate full stack capabilities, and are these individual or team-based?
So the answer is yes. There are individuals, so you work on your own. You work on your computer. You're going to have a virtual machine, and on the virtual machine, you're going to run your um, uh, full stack application, which is going to be made up of the front end, which is a web page, middleware, which is all your business logic. It runs in Python and Flask, and then the backend, which is a database. The project is it's usually an anime store. So basically, you get to order anime products over the web. So something very similar to an Amazon shopping cart.
Amazing, thank
And
you.
so there's a reason we have you do it individually is because the employer will always question what you did in the group. So we eliminate that problem by having you do it by yourself. And so then when you say you have done something, it actually is just you. So there's no differentiation. It's your skills that are being that are on display when you present this project as evidence that you're competent. So we do this as a service actually too.
Maybe you can add on to that, Alex, about this next question. How does the program help students prepare for technical interviews or coding assessments?
Yep. So we have a large, I wouldn't call it a database, but certainly files of questions that employers tend to ask. They also, every employer tends to produce little tests for people who they're interviewing. So we have a collection of those as well. So Anne-Marie is very good at going through scenarios in that you might experience while being interviewed. And we have a pretty good success rate in getting the job for you. You get it, but we want to help you get it. So there is support even in that regard, including practice if you want it. So if you wish to practice, Anne Marie will actually assist you in practicing for your interview.
Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, that's a really helpful resources that everybody can leverage once you enroll with us. Okay, next question is with platforms like Claude now adding new plugins every day, how relevant is this certificate now? From what I've read, web developers will soon be out of jobs.
Oh, the AI companies who can't make any money are always saying that. So they have an amazing skill set. So the Chat GPTs, the Geminis, the Claudes, everybody else will say that you're going to be irrelevant. And then they hire you because what they created cannot be maintained. And this is really the issue, right? So the issue is this is not just, one and done as tend to happen with all AI engines. This is a problem of maintenance and keeping it going and then augmenting it with something else and then having a code base you can actually maintain. I can go on for quite some time. I'm not saying AI doesn't do quite a lot because it does miraculous things, but the one thing it doesn't do yet, at least, is maintain a code base that can be maintained by humans. And we humans are the ones who do that. And we have many experiences with that. Even there are current papers out there that are expressing frustration with software engineering that was done by AI because it solves a particular problem, but does not fit in well with the rest of the architecture of an application, for example. So that these are real problems and real concerns. And it feels almost cyclical. So I'm a computer scientist by training. So we used to believe that if you could program in English, this would be much easier. So we developed programming languages that were like English, and we just developed other problems. So fortunately, AI will continue to make other problems for full stack developer, and you'll have that skill set. So there will be turmoil, but you'll be skilled.
So what you're saying is we're not completely obsolete yet. It's going to be some time.
Speaking about
Sorry, go on, Miguel.
speaking about obsolete, be careful with your question. You said web developers. So one fundamental flaw is the same fundamental flaw that AI is making is misunderstanding. So the program is called full stack developer, not web developer. So web developer is one small component. There are other components that you have to understand. One of the issues with AI is that it's trained on existing code bases. The other problem is if you go to GitHub, everybody's an expert, but they're not experts. You look at the code; it's atrocious, and some of the AIs, yes, they generate code, but it may not have longevity. So you have to understand what kind of code you're going to generate. And the other issue is you want to use new APIs. When you do new development, always aim for the new APIs. By the time you finish, well, the new APIs are not going to be as new as when you started. Problem with AI generated code, it uses older APIs. So you're going to find out, well, why doesn't it run so well? Well, because it was working on an older version. So, for example, in my course for full stack development, we're aiming for Flask 3.1. We look at the code that is generated for Flask. It's usually Flask 2.2 or 2.4. So
Great, thanks. I think the question came from, when we had web developers listed as career pathways. I think that's where it came from. But yeah, thank you for sharing how it's part of it, but not all of it.
It's a context issue. All right. So the problem with the AI, it's a context problem, which creates creates other compounded problems. So that.
I mean, there's subtle problems with it too, right? So, I mean, I can wax poetic for a little bit about this. So the problem with all of Gen AI at the moment, and I don't see any way around it, is it's something called non-deterministic, which means that repeating an answer is actually quite difficult. And it's the reason people hire programmers and people who understand how their systems work is because they can expect a certain response, a reliable response from that human being in a way that fits in with the previous responses. So when a system is non-deterministic, it can come up with various responses that actually address the answer or address the answer that you need, but not in a way that you're expecting. You say, well, that's cool. I'll have new code. Yes, you'll have new code that's completely different from the previous code. And you now lose track of why you did what you're doing because you don't actually know why you're doing it because a machine did it for you, right? So there's all kinds of kind of hidden problems, not for the actual solution. So I'm not criticizing, although there are problems with AI solutions. It's really for the maintenance of the application.
So one question about our course content and how much of that concentrates on generative AI out of the 4 courses, which one mainly has a concentration of that?
Well, I think they all have smatterings of AI in them now. So all of the courses have been updated to allow at least the use of assistive technology, AI assistive technology within the courses themselves, within the course itself. So it's throughout. So it permeates the thing.
And are the courses mostly project-based, or do they involve more traditional assessments and assignments and exams?
Michal, this is yours.
You've got 8. You've got in my course in full stack developer, the CKCS 145. You've got about 12 labs, but we only mark 8. And there's a project. So the whole point is spend the first 6 weeks, get the labs out of the way, and then the last 6 weeks work on the project.
Yeah, we really want you to develop a good project, and it's really to benefit you when you're in front of a potential employer, right? So we tend to concentrate on that career focus. This has been a criticism of universities in general. Well, we kind of concentrate on everything but the actual bottom line, and person's got to eat, right? So we actually try and push you towards a job, and we support you to do that. So that's a kind of different philosophy. So yes, we do confirm that you actually know the knowledge, but we don't treat it as an academic exercise. We very much treat it as an applied exercise to try and get you out the door with the skill sets that you to meet goals that you actually have.
So another issue has nothing to do with that question, but might help you out. You have to understand the way I designed the course. The first 6 weeks are very difficult. So all the difficult material is in the first 6 weeks. And you're going to ask me, well, every other course they put the difficult material towards the end. I said, no, it's right at the beginning. And the reason is uh, I'm going to present everything that's difficult, and then you have the remaining 6 weeks to get used to it. So this way, you're going to be able to use that on your project, and you're going to learn the material quite well. So it's not just the labs and the project, but also the way the course is organized.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, I think that's a good distinction, and the fact that the project is there for everybody to choose and develop and it's used as in their portfolio. I think that's really helpful. So one more question that's open right now is what core technologies and frameworks do students learn throughout the program?
So the answer is quite a few. You're not going to like all of them, but you're going to like the ones that you're going to use in the near future. So, for example, you need a programming language, and that's going to be Python. Programming language by itself, it's good, but doesn't give you that much flexibility. So you need APIs or libraries, and one of the libraries is Flask, which allows you to create a web-enabled application. But you're also going to want to connect to databases. So you're going to look at SQL Alchemy or Mongo Engine. There's some other security libraries. For example, a web application should be secure and should have a login. So that there are various security libraries that you can use. Now, when you're looking at user interfaces, interfaces are in constant motion. So you can have a web page, but as soon as you say a web page, well, you kind of assume that it's a nice web page, so it's got some not necessarily JavaScript, but something more than JavaScript. For example, jQuery, and also the web page is presentable, so you use a cascading style sheet library, for example, Bootstrap. So that's as you've seen, it's not a single technology; it's multiple technologies, and um, when you look at web pages, I had some students that were interested in turning the user interface into components. So they were highly interested in React. I had a couple of students where they got jobs just by taking existing web pages and turning them into components. That was their full-time job. So they were responsible for updating the presentation of the web applications. So for them, that was important. For other students, they said, "Look, React.js may be a bit of overkill." So it all depends on what not necessarily your area of interest is going to be, but the company that you're going to work on, what they're going to use. For example, I have one student, he lives in Alberta and he's involved in the oil industry. And I told him, oh, only one database counts. And that's a relational database. So that's going to be SQL Alchemy for him. So for him, that's super important. Some of the other students said, look, we're beginners. Relational databases are a bit on the hard side. So when I say they're hard, they have a higher learning curve. So they wanted something easier. They use MongoDB, right? So when you use MongoDB, the API that's used to interact with it is Mongo Engine. So you have to ask yourself where you are and what is going to work for you. All right, what's going to work for you, and also what is needed. So if something is needed, even though it has a lot higher learning curve, you're going to invest the time in learning it because it's needed.
Awesome. Thank you. I know we talked a little bit about the capstone project, but someone else has a question regarding the capstone project. If you're if students are building and deploying a complete application in the capstone project.
Yeah. So remember I said you develop a shopping cart, very similar to Amazon, and you deploy it on your virtual machine. So it has to run on your virtual machine. So on your virtual machine, you have your application server, you have your database, and you're going to run uh, your full stack application, and you're going to present that at the very end, or on your last lecture.
And that's what an employer is going to want to see, right? So they're going to want to see an end-to-end application that you did. So funny thing, we give you that.
Does the course also cover how to connect with enterprise databases like Oracle along with MongoDB?
So uh, I already mentioned Mongo, so you have to use an API called Mongo Engine, right? So you're going to run Mongo locally on your virtual machine. Oracle, it's a different database. We use Instead of Oracle, we use PostgreSQL. So you run PostgreSQL locally on your virtual machine. The API that you interact with PostgreSQL is SQL Alchemy. SQL Alchemy is also used to interact with Oracle.
Awesome.
So the answer is yes. You do have the um, library or the API, but you don't run Oracle locally. You can get Oracle as a hosted service, so you have to go to oracle.com and see if they have a free tier. All right, and then you can change the connection string in your project. So instead of connecting to PostgreSQL, you're going to connect to the hosted Oracle service.
And then with full stack development evolving so quickly, which skills or technologies should students focus on right now to stay competitive in the job market? Maybe both of you can touch on that a little bit.
As I said, you learn quite a few technologies, right? Quite a few libraries or APIs, and question becomes what's important to you, what's important for the projects that you're going to work on, right? So ask yourself, do you use relational databases? So for example, if you use Oracle, right? Oracle, it's a good database engine, but it's fairly expensive. An equivalent open source version of Oracle is called PostgreSQL, which is what we use.
I'd say things that are likely to last. Certainly anything to do with Python seems to have longevity. So, which is strange because I never used to say that. So I used to think that more formalized third generation languages like Java would be where it's at, but Python seems to be taking over almost everything, at least as a way of talking to everything else. So we cover that. But the technologies that Mikhail's talking about, they're ever evolving, right? I won't lie to you and say that you learn this and you're done. It doesn't work that way in this business. So you're going to have to keep up with what it is. And you ask, well, Alex, what's the next thing? I don't know. I do know that the AI components seem to have a life, and we're trying to assist you by actually injecting them within the learning that we expect you to do. But as far as the changes or changes to the technologies that you'll see, they're going to come up, and some of them will be revolutionary. So when not in this domain, but say in there are other developments that I was completely sidetracked by. I never thought that Python would have anywhere near the legs that it does, but it does. So we just go with the flow. Thanks.
Yeah, I think
So
that's something
so
very important in this field is to stay updated with your knowledge. So
so
yeah,
let me
go
let me
ahead,
just
Michal.
add one thing.
Yeah.
So when you look at Java, Java's been great, but it's been good for like world systems. When I say world systems, I mean like an application that has 1 billion concurrent users. So that's like the entire time zone. The problem with Java is barrier to entry. So the learning curve is huge.
Yeah. Anyways, Michael and I can go on about this for quite some time.
So Python has a much lower learning curve. Okay, much lower learning curve. So this is what we're looking at. Also, you have to understand Python is it's a huge ecosystem. So it's not just Python; it's all the third-party libraries. Not all third-party libraries in Python are successful. All right, not all of them are successful. Some of them, they come and they go. Some of them are atrocious. So we kind of the nice thing about the Python ecosystems is that whatever is not good, it has a tendency of disappearing quickly. Right. So Flask has been around. Currently, it's at version 3.1, and it has a future. So Flask is considered for building lighter web-enabled applications. All right. So lighter web-enabled applications. So it will not handle a billion users, but maybe a few million users, 10, 20, 30 million users, 50 million users. That will work. Right. So some of you will be saying, look, if I have a website or a web application that handles 50 million users, I'm super happy. All right. So that's how I have to look at it.
Okay, so we've got one more question that just came in. RESTful architecture and HTTP, exposing and consuming APIs. Are we going to learn how to develop API from scratch that can be deployed?
That's RESTful APIs. So when I said Flask, that's what Flask does. It's about RESTful APIs. All right.
The answer is yes.
Yeah.
And that's what I figured.
It's a huge component of CKCS 145.
All right, so it looks like we don't have any more open questions now, but this was really good conversation. Thank you everyone for your questions. We'll leave the questions up there for anyone else who wants to take a look at it, and a few more minutes to see if you have any more questions left. But any final thoughts from Alex or Mihal?
Well, I always look forward to seeing the new faces and in every cohort. Everyone is a little bit different, and the goals are a little different. And I actually get a lot out of the stories that people tell me about why they're doing a certificate. So I look forward to speaking with you about that when you sign up. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much to both of you for presenting today and then speaking to us and answering our questions. And thank you all to all of our attendees for taking the time out of your day to attend today's session. If you're interested in more information about the certificate presented today, please visit our website at continuing.torontomu.ca. And if you have any other questions, you can contact me at mash.chaudhry@torontomu.ca. You'll receive a follow-up email with this information and the recording of this session within the next 24 to 48 hours. It'll also have a survey, so please fill that out because it helps us provide feedback to the team as well. And on behalf of the Chang School and our presenters, thank you for joining us today and have a great rest of the day. Bye, everyone.